if that's the case, the Control Warrior's typically at a disadvantage in this matchup. Ragnaros definitely one of those key cards.
Well, on the other hand, we are seeing the blood, the cold blood from Forsen. So it might seem that this rogue is the more aggressive one, the explosive one. Have we seen Arcane Golem as well?
Yeah, we saw Arcane Golem in his mulligan, and here was going to be my question about it when we saw the Cold Blood. Frody, I know you've been keeping up a lot on metagame stuff. You've been playing a ton of Hearthstone lately. We've seen Miracle Rogue with Southsea Deckhand and 2 Cold Bloods and a Faceless Manipulator. Do you think that's something that we could possibly see this game, or do you think just Arcane Golem is telling a bigger story?
Well, yeah, I think Arcane Golem's a really interesting inclusion because like Leroy seems a little bit too unreliable as a finisher, but Miracle started deviating so much from its burst because it went Violet Teacher, right? The board control. And as a result, classes like Warrior actually became somewhat decent against Miracle Rogue because it's great at destroying the board. So if you went back into burst, keeping the game a little bit faster tempo, I think we can see some surprises. I wouldn't be surprised to see Sinister Strikes as opposed to maybe those board control aspects or even the Southsea Deckhand. Having both would not be out of the question, though. Yeah. You might see both.
Backstab coming out straight away. How important do you think is it to kill Armor Smiths in this matchup?
I think it's really important, especially if you are playing the Face Rogue with Cold Bloods and more burst as opposed to Violet Teacher and the board control. You want to get rid of it, spend some points of damage, but still in the long run it's less points of damage than just keeping the Armor Smith on board.
Seems like he's prioritizing trying to get in that armor and saving the coin. Is there anything worth saving the coin for in this matchup for additional pressure with high legendaries, or no, what do you think?
It seems to me that's exactly what he's keeping it for. I mean, if you look at just the weight of his hand, he's got Baron Geddon already, he's got Ragnaros, he's got Alexstrasza. But there's nothing that he needs to play on turn 4. So when he attacks the face with this Death Bite, obviously he's hunting for a way to actually kill his opponent at this point. So Grommash, of course, if that's his game plan, one of the best draws in his deck right now. But he's going to have a pretty big wall to climb through here because, I mean, where do you go with this Rogue hand? You have 3 very different lines that are all very good.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you're still happy. You have the gadgets and you have preparation and Lothep, so you have a turn 6 play, and you have spells anyway. And even with Fun of Knives, you can replenish your hand. So right now, Warrior has 29 points of health and no armor. Like at this point, you are going in a good direction as a rogue.
Yeah, this is pretty wide open. It's a pretty simple. This is a pretty simple Death Bite swing. Not really much question about this.
Right, it's the follow-up that you start discussing. Do you want to draw for another card, or would you rather set up so that way you're well prepared? Because again, that armor up does matter against Miracle Rogue because their damage is much more finite ever since Leroy's been swapped out of the mix.
Also, what's important is that even though Forsen is able to clear RDU's board with the weapon, he is taking damage. So whatever happens, he is dropping lower.
That's a pretty important draw right now. That Sludge Belcher right off the top.
For sure. I don't know if it'll stop him, though.
Oh, man.
He's got the conceal.
You know, this actually isn't like the worst thing in the world that can happen, though, because if this gadget thing gets concealed, there is Brawl on the other hand.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so this could really get crazy in a moment here. Let's see how he chooses it. I imagine this slime's going to die this turn.
Yeah.
It has to die, but still, it's a good draw. I mean, you do conceal this for sure. And then, you know, brawling a Gadgetzan and having a 50-50 is not the ideal situation.
Yeah, I mean, it never. Oh my gosh, and he even draws a second Auctioneer.
So if the first one's dealt with, he still has much more juice in the can.
Wow.
And this conceal can still pick up other things.
Yep.
I mean, do you want to get the draws in now before maybe he Lothebs you down?
Yeah, I think it's important to get the draws in, but you don't want to invest so much that you lose a lot of your damage potential. Like, he feels so safe. He's got a second Auctioneer. He's got 2 Eviscerates in his hand. He doesn't feel like pressured to really make a lot happen.
Oh, man.
Really interesting that Baron Geddon is the choice here. I guess he just doesn't feel like that a 50-50 is good enough to be able to win the game off of this, and he's kind of just got to, you know, really hope his opponent has a bunch of poor spells in their hand, or just have, you know,
or like a lot of minions.
Yeah, a bunch of minions. Like maybe he's playing Violet Teachers or something like that. But
yeah, it's not a bad assumption if there is a Violet Teacher and a more minion-based deck.
Yeah,
but still, right now it looks so good for RDU with all the draws and even a sap to actually deal with.
I mean, this is going to be like one of those positions where it's basically impossible for Forsen to really climb out of this. Just so many cards have been drawn already. More damage is being dealt. He's got a fresh 3-point dagger. Everything's going for him right now.
Do you think RDU is actually playing? Forsen is playing Leroy? RDU.
Yeah, RDU is the miracle player here.
Yeah, I don't think RDU is playing Leroy. What is interesting to note, though, he's got Shadow Step and Earthring Farseer in here, and that's a really big difference in Miracle Rogue. as you said, we've been seeing a lot of people kind of go towards Violet Teachers and really heavy board control and foregoing the big burst that's in there. But when you have Earthen Ring and Shadow Step, it's really aimed towards Hunter, because part of what's happened is you lost a lot of your longevity versus Hunter when you cut Earthen Ring Farseers and Shadow Steps from it. That was a really big swing that was happening. And when he includes that, he expects a lot of Hunter in this tournament and is targeting it specifically with that build.
Right, maybe he's banning Warlock instead.
Yeah.
I mean, RDU, or Forsen rather, has an opportunity to board clear and drop Ragnaros this turn. If he goes for a weapon swing, executes and then coin Ragnaros, he actually puts RDU at 10 health.
Wow,
I mean, that's pretty significant in my book.
Do you attack with a weapon first?
Yeah, you don't want to damage your Ragnaros unnecessarily.
Well, I don't know. Actually,
well, it's weak.
Protection from backstab.
Yeah, it's better against backstab. It's interesting.
Definitely what he's thinking about right now. I think he sees that exact play that you're mentioning too. That makes the most sense to me.
For sure.
I'm trying to figure out how much damage is there if RDU actually draws an Arcane Golem.
Well, Ragnaros, where is it going to hit? I don't know. RNG Stone!
No, it doesn't hit his own face. How lucky!
100%.
Imagine if Ragnaros has 50% chance to hit the wrong enemy.
Like those new ogres.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be perfect.
I mean, RDU can deal with Ragnaros in multiple ways, but at the same time, it is a low enough health where he's starting to be a little cautious, because if Gromage plus an Activator's in hand,
you might want to
be toasty.
He definitely has to think about that right now. That's a good point.
I think you always shift because you want to see if you can get an Arcane Golem and win at that position, but still, and you have ways to deal with Ragnaros anyway.
Yeah. This has got to get sapped.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's actually, this is a pretty scary position now.
For both players.
Yeah, both of them are feeling a lot of heat. I think that this is like a really big sigh of relief for Forsen. He's like, oh my gosh, I didn't die this turn.
Right.
And he also didn't see like gadgets and preparation sap. So both of those things are good news for him at the moment. I am actually curious what he would put his opponent's hand range at. But he doesn't really have many other plays. Like his plays are pretty much the same the full way through. He's like the Sludge Belcher, obviously it's giving him a lot more leverage to kind of recover from this position, but he's got to think, do I want a Shield Block or do I want a Sludge Belcher now?
You know what I really liked about RDU's play too is that he's not trying to dip closer to killing his opponent and give Alexstrasza a lot of value, because now Alexstrasza is only like it's basically a Farseer that puts out a little bit more stats instead, which can easily be dealt with another sap. So I like that RDU is showing some patience here overall.
RDU had also an option to Shadow Step his own Farseer to try to protect himself more and get more health.
But you give up damage, right, if you do that?
Yeah, especially against Warrior, you don't want to do it. If there's a shield block coming, the Warrior can, from 13 or 12, get to 30 pretty fast.
But you can't shield block and drop the Sludge Belcher and remove the Farseer. You're just limited by the mana.
Yeah, he's got to make a choice at some point here.
Is he going to... Is this the moment that you have to consider going for face as well?
Well, if you have the weapon to threaten, it's still 10 damage plus the Gromage.
I think at this point he really just wants to try to sustain himself. I mean, we saw a pretty weak turn from RDU last turn, all things considered. So Forsen's really figuring out how does he refortify this board position and try to find a lethal, because he doesn't have Gromage in his hand. That's really what he's thinking about. So when RDU sees stuff like this happen, I would very much assume that RDU doesn't think that Gromage is in the hand of Forsen either. So both of these players, they're still fighting for the board. I mean, we're 10 turns into the game right now. We've seen Auctioneer get active. We've seen a Baron hit the board and not clear an Auctioneer.
RDU can play...
This is so close. Like, RDU's like 3 or 4 points off from killing his opponent right now.
I don't see anything other than Auctioneer here. Auctioneer sap feels like a really strong lead, but if he saps, then he knows he's going to see that again next turn.
Well, the Drake actually can get the Arcane Golem.
But there's a sap.
He needed preparation.
7.
If he had preparation with the sap, the Arcane Golem with Shadow Step and Cold Blood and the Deadly Dagger hit would have actually been it.
Fun of Knives was a winning play. You do Fun of Knives, then draw that Arcane Golem and sap.
Sure, you're right. But at least he still can deal with the Sludge Belcher. But he's now going to cross his fingers as the opponent doesn't have a Gromage or a way to kill him.
Yeah, I think at this point, I think he feels pretty comfortable about not having Gromage in his opponent's hand again. I think Gromage would have been a really strong play last turn from Forsen, just putting a 10 power guy on the board.
Sure.
Like that would have been threatening enough. So where Forsen goes from here, I don't know if it has much consequence, because he doesn't really have a way to keep himself alive. He'd have to draw something really hefty, because that's a lot of damage he's looking at.
And there's no other guarantee to use shield block here. Yeah. I think Ragnaros is your best bet, but if it doesn't hit the Drake, I mean, he's toast. He already feels it's already really close with the Arcane Golem in hand. In fact,
he is dead anyway.
Yeah, because Ardiu's got the
15 at least.
Yeah, he's got Shadow Step
right.
and he's got Cold Blood plus the dagger that's out. This is going to be first blood for RDU here. Unless you can't count. Nope, sorry about that. He already sees it. Oh, he drew that preparation. That's what he's sorry about. Wow, what a big top deck that was.
He's going to try to not conceal his Arcane Golem, though. Can he get away with it?
Not if he attacked first.
Oh,
yeah, so
he
he definitely can't anymore. So
that's you know, I think Ardu actually realized he could have gotten away without showing Arcane Golem.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an error. Oh, no, I don't know if he could have.
Yeah, you cold blood the
4,
Drake.
8, 9, 10, 11. He had 12 points of damage, right?
I think it was 12.
So you Blade Flurry first, and then you cold blood.
And then he had 13 from the dagger. So he had 13 points of damage that turn. Was that enough to pick it off?
Well,
yeah,
I think so.
I think it was
so.
12.
Yeah. Well, either way, it's still important that he got the win. Well, these are small, minor details that might come into the factor, but getting the first win in last year's standing is what gives a big advantage in the series.
I have to say also, like, RDU is really skillful with deck picks and bans. Like, we're not sure what the bans were exactly, but if RDU picks a deck against a specific lineup, if he wins the first one, if he wins the first game, it positions himself in a very good position to win the match as well.
Yeah, I spoke a little bit with RDU about this tournament kind of coming into it. He touched on how he wanted to ban Warlock coming in. And so how does he position his deck if he wants to ban Warlock? I'm like, well, you have to target Hunter then, because you should be expecting Hunter and Warlock from almost everyone's decks. And he's like, well, I don't know what does that. I think he's found a really good solution here with this Rogue that has Shadow Steps and Earthring Farce.
It's going to work out in his favor. We're going to game number 2. See if Forsen can turn it around, and he is immediately turning towards Hunter to try and turn it around. Now, Hunter has recently gone through a little bit of changes, some growing pains now that it's in the spotlight so much due to Undertaker starts. It feels like Hunter is so hit or miss with how it curves out that if you don't get a good start, it can feel like there's no point of return even as early as turn 3. If like Hunter misses a couple of early drops, the game feels like it's over already.
Yeah, consistency is really the name of the game with Hunter. Obviously, Undertaker is probably the best turn 1 start in the game right now. You know, aside from like some crazy innervate turns. But its follow-up is really important. It's just as important. You need Web Spitters, you need Leopard Gnomes, you need Haunted Creepers, and then ideally you want to have Animal Companion or Eaglehorn Bow. Now, when you get that draw, Hunter is almost always going to be ahead in the game. So like how the draws pan out, a lot less consequential for Hunter than it will be for their opponent. But it's like, as you said, it's like when he gets a start like this, you know, he's going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure, but when he's got a Hunter's Mark and an Iron Beak out in his hand. These are two pretty lackluster draws so far.
Yeah, but still, right now he got those 1-drops, and he is able to push with damage instead of just, you know, keeping 2 high mains. And there are also different builds, as Frodo mentioned. Like some of the players play Explosive Shot.
Oh no! Oh gosh, that's the one I always get too.
That's a tough draw.
Oh, jeez, look at that.
It deals damage. You can still attack with this.
Oh, yeah, it deals a ton of damage. You know, this is a big mistake to not have a Dread Corsair in this deck to make sure you can draw that.
Or Captain Greenskin. This is the point where you're like, oh, where did I go wrong? It was right there.
Yeah, Earthring Farce, again, look at just how much of a difference this has made on the board.
But
this Houndmaster, this Houndmaster is the saving grace of this game so far. Without this Houndmaster, this game would have gone way out of control really quickly.
And he's playing 2 Houndmasters. Like, a lot of Hunters did cut 1, but it's a great card. It's essentially a 6/5 if you have a Beast board.
Yeah.
For 4 mana.
By the way, we do recognize that it is 1-0 right now for RDU. And Forsen's the one that's switching decks here because there was a little bit of confusion there. But, you know, if Forsen doesn't have a good start here and he drops 0-2, it is really difficult to come back in the series. So he needed that Houndmaster big. It's interesting that, like you said, Nibs, he plays 2 Houndmasters and what kind of synergy is in the deck. And even just seeing 1 Houndmaster might be a way to alert RDU about what cards are in the Hunter.
I really like watching Hunter games because you never know what the player is bringing. I do.
Nemsh likes aggro decks that really end the game quickly? No!
I like high mains as well, and they are not that quick, but, you know, you just drop the high main.
High main's pretty cool card for sure.
Gosh, look at that. So much had to be burned to clear that board that turn.
He lost his coin.
Really mindful of his life total, though, which is very important in this matchup.
Yeah. And just look at the slow follow-up. Yep. It's just a Haunted Creeper. That gives some setup time. You can get another turn where you feel a little bit more comfortable and even set up a weapon for potentially the second Deadly Poison.
Yeah.
It seems like Forsen is really not happy with his hand.
No, you're not. You want to be putting on really strong pressure. Like Animal Companion with the hero power would have been way better.
Oh man, RDU will be so
It does set up
disappointed.
another Houndmaster though. I mean, this is like, that is a really key card. Oh my gosh, he draws Savannah Highmom though.
I think Houndmaster still, you don't always get their guaranteed value.
Yeah.
And you draw potential removal with this.
Well, you just played a 6/5 for 4 mana, and you can also deal 2 points of damage with the hero power. And in this matchup, you want to use hero power as often as possible, because Rogue doesn't have that much heal. He has those Farseers, but Farseers are already used.
Yeah.
So whatever Forsen does now with RDU's health pool, he will be getting ahead. And even if he loses the board, where right now he has an awesome advantage, he has the high main, so at some point if he loses it, he still has the hero power, so he can continue doing damage and win.
Yeah. 2 Houndmasters really making the difference in this game. Now, I agree with his conceal play. He doesn't really have a ton of much else to do. He's just gotta, he's gonna have to just kind of take some damage and really hope things work out the best for him.
Forsen needs a flare.
Yeah. Or even just Lotheb. Like Hunter decks still sometimes have Lotheb to shut down a Gadgetzan play, and then RDU's hand becomes extremely difficult to push next turn.
RDU's really struggling with this decision, by the way. Should he poke this with his dagger and move forward, or should he just not and let bygones be bygones? This is one of those decisions where like it's something really small that can be the difference between winning and losing. I actually like not attacking here because you've got copies of Shiv and Fan of Knives in your deck, and then there's also still the potential that you sap this Haunted Creeper instead of taking it out with damage. I like that he's left it here instead of taking the extra 2 damage that he would take from the 2 extra spiders that get left afterwards.
That high main feels so clunky right now. He might actually decide to use hero power and maybe a freezing trap.
Yeah, high main is. I mean, he's going to be met with some bad news here, but.
Best card to deal with it, gauges some tempo. Lotheb would have been good for the opposite player, but it's still sometimes nifty if you want to shut out a double kill command potential from the Hunter.
Lotheb is pretty good against a Hunter. Hunter uses a lot of spells.
Shiv actually was a nice draw if he picks up preparation, but he didn't draw it, so I guess he's just got the.
This is a really fortified board position, though. I mean, look what he's just done to the board position. Oh, he's pained over this damage, too. Should he deal 4 or should he kill this spider?
Right.
This is actually pretty tough.
Well, we know the right answer is to kill off the spider because there's Hunter's Mark waiting in his opponent's hand.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking about, too. But he's taking a look at his hand, and he's like, I got to end this game, though. Like, is the 4 damage worth playing around Hunter's Mark or not?
This is a race.
Yeah, it is, but...
Oh, that's the right choice. Gosh. A tough call from RDU, but it's the correct decision.
I wonder if he's getting any physical reads from Forsen 2. You saw him actually, he was glancing a little bit.
Oh, you're right.
I'm curious if he's looking for that sort of thing. That'd be really heads up.
About this setup, that these players can peer right over their monitor and see what their opponent's looking at.
Yeah, they're face-to-face right now. You guys can't see it from this perspective, but they are... I mean, they are quite literally looking over their monitors at each other during the other player's turn and try to get a read on what's going on.
Especially if you're playing against a friend, like a player you know and you spend time with, you can read the player better.
Yeah.
You look at Forsen and he shows you a gesture and you know something is going on.
Definitely going to show RDU a gesture or 2. Second Fan of Knives.
Yeah. But, you know, he can tuck that away. And now he can start pushing for damage.
Oh, look at this.
And this is the return of RDU to come back into this game. And fortunately for Forsen, he doesn't have to use anything other than his kill command, but he definitely wanted to use it to press for the win.
He's got options. He could also use Freezing Trap, too. That's not a bad play. And when he picks up the Eagle Horn Bow, I imagine it's going to be Freezing Trap instead.
Oh, wow.
This is a fantastic top deck. Like, Eagle Horn Bow is one of the best cards in this matchup. You just want to push and do as much damage as possible, especially when you have trap
swing. It's out of Earth Entering Farseers too. This is going to be a really tough spot to climb back from. He is very low on life. What do you need? Do you need to draw like Blood Mage here to trigger this trap? Or
oh, he's got an Arcane Golem.
That's 8 damage with that Shadow Step.
Well, even more specifically,
he can counter the trap.
He can counter the trap.
Yeah.
But then, okay, can you play Arcane Golem and then Lotheb? And then try to shut down what your opponent can do spell-wise. He only has...
He only
has 8 damage.
8 damage next turn.
Because his kill command's going to cost 8 mana. He's not going to have a chance to beast afterwards.
Oh, he's playing around Snipe. Look at that.
That would be really clever.
Playing Lotheb first because
but he's not playing around Explosive Trap if he goes for the Arcane Golem.
I don't think he needs to play around Explosive Trap as much, though, because his minions aren't going to die to it anyway.
Okay, so he holds back. Doesn't even want to test for the trap. And Lotheb, I mean, with Arcane Golem Shadow Step next turn anyways, does he have the damage to kill him? Because that is 20 damage if Lotheb's the one attacking first, and then Arcane Golem's pushing in for the win with Shadow Steps.
Forsen might be forced to play kill commands and kill the 7-3.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question about it. Like I think he does have to kill command here. I think you should just keep hero powering and going from there too. It's still pretty tough for your opponent to really put together a winning combination of plays after this. So you're still so high. You have your opponent on like a 2-turn clock.
Do you play the minion or do you?
You're running pretty low on damage. Even though you're put to 10 health and you still have your hero power, it feels really far away if you have no way to direct damage other than your bow.
I feel like you're supposed to just hero power.
Yeah, you do. Because if you top deck a kill command,
I don't think a random card in your deck is worth more than 2 damage right now.
Especially if it could be Undertaker or like another web spinner. Oh man. It doesn't feel good.
Use the hero power. Oh gosh. Oh, it hurts.
If he uses, I think he values another card.
Yeah,
too,
he really does.
Highly.
This is something he's really got to stop. We don't know exactly what's in his deck. Like he may have Leroy. He may have King Crutch. He may have like a Wolf Rider in his deck or something.
Sure.
An average card here in general though is not going to be worth more than 2 damage direct. Like you said, if he picks up like Undertaker or something, Leper Gnome, that's effectively going to be worth 2 damage, but it actually has to live for a turn. So
assuming it won't get sapped.
Yeah, and like what Forsen's thinking about right now is, am I even going to live this long? Because RDU still got plenty of damage down here. I'd be surprised to not see this Deadly Poison come out. Yeah. So 17, and then next turn he's got 8 plus 8. So he's got 16 points of damage next turn.
he will be 1 short.
Yeah.
Well, he might be able to draw something else that can help him with that. In the meantime, the Lotheb shuts down yet again.
Wow.
But he is giving charges to the bow. That's also important.
Yeah.
Can force him to set up a scenario where maybe he forces Rogue to kill itself.
Yeah.
Explosive Trap is pretty tricky. It might counter Arcane Golem, but RDU will definitely check the trap first.
He's down to 5. I don't know if he has time to just check it first. I think he's just gotta hope things work out his way.
Well, he comes down to the point where he can't even heal anymore, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have any taunters.
I'd be very surprised.
Drake
if he had one.
has to get like Cold Blood or something, right?
I don't even know what it can get. I mean, 17.
Preparation is something.
Is there a card that gets him out of this? I mean, he's just dead on board next turn.
He needed a taunt if he was playing Sludge Belcher, perhaps. I don't know.
He's got to have Sludge Belcher and then also prep Sap on the
right, exactly. That was the only way for him to survive.
Be able to win next turn. Yeah, so this game is going to be pretty much done. He has fought pretty much about as hard as he could, but Forsen's draw, the 2 Houndmasters really making all the difference in this game. Yeah, that's going to do it.
On the back of his Leper Gnome.
That Leper Gnome, that's what really carried the game towards the end there.
It did make a difference.
Was that extra 0 points of damage that was dealt.
2 damage overkill.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sigh of relief, by the way.
Composed Forsen.
It was. To go down 0-2 in this format is just so brutal because then he has so many chances to scour out. It doesn't even matter if your decks are disadvantaged. It just gives you an opportunity to multiple times over. So now the series is tied, and this is where best of 5 really does kick in because if it's best of 3, then RDU has a huge advantage to pick into the game-winning potential opportunity. But now this is it's reasonable. Hunter could beat anything, and now the series is blown wide open.
Now the question is if Rogue was RDU's counter to Hunter decks, and it seemed like it is. So his Rogue is out.
I would say that I think he's playing Warrior too. I'm just gonna toss it out there. RDU has been telling me how much he enjoys Warrior recently, and I think it's a strong pick. It's not as favored as you might think it is. I actually am of the opinion that Warrior versus Hunter is split down the middle, 50-50.
This is your hand lock. Like once you know what it is, you can mulligan correctly. So I imagine he would have banned Hunter. I'm sorry, I imagine he would have banned Hunter very often, but again, not as surprised as a hand lock ban because he's not sure which version it is.
Or is it Zoo? I don't know. I mean, that's the power of Warlock, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In the meantime, game number 3 is starting, and we have RDU on the Warrior to try and counter the Hunter. And, Forsen has one of the most important cards already.
The High Main.
The High Main, but he does have a slow start, which is a little bit of a take the good with the bad.
RDU's got one of the most important cards in this matchup, too, which is Armor Smith, which it seems like a pretty small deal, but it adds up to a lot by the end of this match. If that thing sticks around for a couple turns, not only is it picking apart these one health minions, but it's gaining a bunch in the process. Undertaker, fantastic draw, yeah.
Yeah, great card for turn 3. Undertaker and Haunted Creeper. He has a good curve as well. So I wonder how many RDU is playing a Whirlwind. I wonder if he's playing the Ghouls as well. those are the most annoying cards to get through with as a hunter.
Something that really common that I've seen lately is that Whirlwind has rotated back in and Unstable Ghoul's gone out because of so many Iron Beak Owls.
Yeah.
You just really need the Whirlwind effect, and it's not worth the sacrifice of potentially losing that.
Well, this is actually one of the better starts that Warrior is looking forward to. And not being able to kill off that Armor Smith effectively is pretty annoying, but this is where having Houndmaster once again will be pretty clutch for Forsen.
It's also important that the Hunter Keeper got played first, so it will be the tokens will be killed by the weapon.
Yeah. Also good point. Also really heads up to attack this Mad Scientist here to set up his Death Spite next turn instead of just going for the face and then sacrificing it next turn or giving your opponent the option to see how they want to remove your Armor Smith.
But it doesn't play around Houndmaster, so I feel like this is really good pressure for Forsen.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stings. This turn's you're probably going to see Shield Slam come out this turn, which is something that Forsen wants to see happen because he wants his Savannah Highmane to be protected the turn he hits the board. He doesn't want Shield Slam and then like everything else happening to pick it apart.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Savannah Highmane is being dropped on turn 6, and turn 5 doesn't look that good. So RDU will have a chance to set up his board to deal with a single Savannah Highmane. Savannah Highmane is the best card in this matchup when you actually have a board as a hunter, and Warrior struggles with your board, and then you drop Savannah Highmane, which is like, hey, I just won. Yeah. But if there is a single one, you can still deal with it.
Hunter's Mark's not really a good draw at the moment.
Maybe it could be useful though, if because now he can play Hunter's Mark and Highmane next turn to take out whatever potentially gets dropped here.
Yeah. Lotheb's definitely getting dropped.
Look at Spellbreaker. Great card to deal with.
Spellbreaker is such an important draw right now because when you see this Highmon hit the board, it's just like it's already countered. Like Warrior has already accounted for it. This is the point in the game where you're really going to see the matchup turn around.
What about the trap?
Oh, that's true. He doesn't know what. That's a freezing trap that's down, right?
It is a freezing trap.
Okay, so that does make a ton of difference. I actually forgot that was there. Well, of course he draws execute.
Yeah, execute seals it.
Just in case.
Oh my god.
It was freezing trap. You know, he's gonna go ahead and make sure that he can draw away.
Wait. Do you silence now, or do you play Whirlwind first and then silence?
Well, he's gonna figure out that this is freezing trap. That's what's gonna happen. So he was testing to see if it's freezing trap because you know, obviously sometimes it can be explosive trap or snake trap or something like that.
Wow, he dealt with Highmane with ease.
This is
Web Spinner draws another Web Spinner.
Web Spin reception.
Well,
gosh.
I mean, getting ability to try to fight for the board back is really important, and the Hunter floods it right back at RDU. And RDU just uses Whirlwind.
Yeah, exactly, and then Death Spite as well. So especially because he saw those two cards, he might be able to overextend. And on the other hand, it might be the only strategy left to him at this point.
So where does he go from here exactly? Second trap. God, I want to. What's that second trap? Is it just another freezing trap? You think?
Well,
we don't know if he's playing Snake Trap or not.
I think it is a second freeze trap. Snake Trap's been rotated out of a lot of these Hunter decks because they found out that a lot of classes can race Hunter very exceptionally well. Yeah. And that Snake Trap doesn't do anything if your opponent knows what it is.
Web Spinner attack. Let's see what we get.
Oh my gosh, if he gets like a King Crush or something. Tundra
still not bad.
No, I mean King Crush Light.
I think you draw a card here. I don't think you want to use the Tundra Rhino to take this out. I think you want to pick up the card.
It's damage, and you want damage.
You want repetitive damage on the board?
Well, I think so.
You're still going to draw a card eventually from this.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I would have liked drawing a card. Nimsh likes getting the 2/5. You like getting the 2/5 out for him?
I like getting the 2/5 out as well because
this is what makes Hearthstone great.
It might draw out my removal or inefficient plays right here because look, he doesn't have to. He has to get this Death Spite working.
Yep.
And he's dropping to pretty significantly low health.
Yeah, this is getting a lot closer than I thought it was going to be initially. Gosh, he really doesn't want to use this Cruel Taskmaster, but I think it's a really good play right now. I think obviously he's trying to avoid a Death Rattle this next turn. Pretty unlikely again. There's so many of them in this deck, and he's going to pick up two cards here.
Oh man, a Kill Command. RDU is almost out of cards.
Oh, that's a beast, and that's an important activator. How much damage is this right now? 7, 8. His opponent's at 15. Only halfway through. But if his entire turn is dedicated to playing a minion.
Wow. This turn 9 was hero power, attack with a 1/2 pass. That's not what he wanted to see this turn.
It's not the worst.
Yeah, there's the freezing trap.
All right. Are we Ysera boys?
I think we're your Sarah boys.
It's Sarah boys. So, Laughing Sister?
I'm sensing like Ysera Awakens.
Yeah, Ysera Awakens way worse right
Dream.
now, I think. Laughing Sister. It's always Laughing Sister. We should have known.
We should have.
Wait, is that it?
Have we learned nothing from Amaz? Wait a minute. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I think he's just short a little bit.
Oh my gosh, he is 1 damage off lethal.
But he should silence this. But it's so scary because you just gave up your beast and you're not sure if you can get the guarantee of kill command, and you shouldn't use it because the Alexstrasza would bounce back.
Oh my gosh!
Whoa.
That is a fucking huge draw right now.
It is
My
indeed.
gosh, that is enormous.
That was the...
Look at RDU. He just like he's glancing at the ceiling awkwardly, like no, don't mind me.
Man.
Just an Alexstrasza.
He needs to attack with his bow too, right? Because if the taunt comes out, he doesn't get the guarantee of hitting it.
Oh my gosh! I mean, what does he do to climb back from this? This is just
even second kill command is coming up short. He needs a little bit of health.
He's a King Crush.
Definitely needs a King Crush. Yeah, gotta kill the Loatheb here. No question about this.
Oh,
I'd be a little bit surprised to not see. To not see Loatheb here.
That is enough damage to kill the next turn, I believe, because he has
2
Cruel
Taskmasters. Yeah.
Taskmaster's not it.
Oh my gosh.
Kill command
So
on Alexstrasza to stay alive. Oh, he doesn't know. He doesn't know there's enough damage to end the game, and that should do it for game number 3. RDU will be taking a series lead.
Wow, he's even picks up a rag just in case he didn't have enough.
That was
Everything
really
going
nice.
right for RDU this game. My gosh.
That Alexstrasza. It might have been the only out. I mean,
Shield blocks could have been good. Shield block
good as well,
into Sludge Belcher could have been great. But that's even more runner than just Alexstrasza.
So RDU applying the dragon power with Ysera and Alexstrasza both. Just taming the dragons.
How often do you get 2 9-minute dragons in play? And then how often do you actually lose if you get 2 9-minute dragons in play?
Not often.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
It's pretty rare.
Especially if you're facing an Iron Begal and just, no.
Yeah. Just an Iron Begal.
Yo.
He's out there and he's like,
that game was really close. And again, resembles why the matchup's pretty split across the board between these two classes. And now Forsen goes down to his last choice here. And if RDU banned Warlock, what's there left for him?
Paladin.
Paladin.
Forsen's a well-known Paladin player at this point.
No one's that brave.
He really likes to slow, make a token pass game.
Do you think anybody's playing Paladin?
There's got to be one person playing Paladin. There's always one person playing Paladin.
Druid.
Yeah, well, you nailed it. Yeah.
Well, there you go. And that's just a really safe way to attack a warrior, and then pretty much send it to game 5 if everything goes according to plan.
This matchup really, in my opinion, in the Druid's favor. I've played this one a ton. Shaded Next Ramus is a nightmare if it gets on the board early. And he's already got it in his hand. And Ancient of Lore, I know it's a 7-mana card, but it's really not even that bad to have in your opening hand in this matchup.
Yeah, you sometimes even can keep it if you have a coin. Just keep it because it's so important to get those cards. And chip the health of Warrior, get rid of the armor, put the Warrior on 14, and then just combo them out.
Well, the thing about the Warrior is it still has options to respond, but even if it does, it's like Admiral has been saying, the threat of combo every single turn is going to be difficult.
Picked up Wild Growth too.
Picking up Wild Growth is probably one of the best starts you can ask for as well.
So how does Warrior defend? Do you go aggro or do you try to build up a wall like Sludge Belchers? Just respond to everything the Druid is playing and then keep yourself healthy?
Yeah, one of the biggest keys in this matchup is Shield Block, Shield Slam. It really helps swing the tides in your favor, but as far as should you be aggro, should you be control, this is one of those matches where it really depends on how your draw pans out. Sometimes you can't be aggressive. Sometimes you can't control the board. It's really going to kind of depend. And this is one of those hands where I can kind of see it going either way. My instinct is that he should be looking more towards aggression because he's got Grommash and Deathbite in his hand. But I can see him at the same token with the Execute and then the Silence trying to be a little bit more defensive in that same vein and figuring out if he can stall this game long enough to actually activate all these legendaries.
Even Baron Geddon is a card that can deal damage when you just drop it on the board with some minions.
Yeah.
Druid might have to trade, or if there is nothing to trade with Baron Geddon, you just start going face.
Yeah, this is a crucial turn as well, because he's making his decision whether or not he's playing aggressive or defensive. And defensive it is.
I think I really like to see the Fiery War Axe on turn 2. Black Knight's not a very good one. If you see Sludge Belcher come out, of course, that really changes everything. But typically in this matchup, it's not going to hit a lot of targets.
That's a really clunky turn 5. And you know what? I wonder if this Shade of Naxxramas will actually attack this game. Because if something else drops on the board, we might see the Brawl at some point, and this Shade will be, never used.
It's definitely a possibility.
I think it will get to the point, though, because there's no Brawl in hand, and there's already combo.
Yeah.
So there is an opportunity to set up and start doing a lot of damage, especially since he also has Ancient of Lore the turns before that.
So if he's got to play a weapon here, I would like to see the Fiery War Axe instead.
But he wants to challenge whatever comes out on turn 6, right? If you attack, you can use the 5 damage the following turn to challenge.
He definitely can, but is he going to? And is that even the best course of action when you have Ground Rush in your hand?
Well,
he has picked up a Whirlwind, yeah, so that makes a pretty big difference.
And look, I mean,
oh my gosh, a second Shade of Naxxramas.
He needs that Brawl right now.
Or a Cleave or something. Maybe reach into his time machine and grab Matter Bomber.
Well, to be honest, he can actually deal with this with one of the shades with Whirlwind and Weapon Attack.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I'd be really
humorous.
surprised if that didn't happen, but that's, of course, sort of a blessing. He's picked up this Cruel Taskmaster in time, but that was going to kill all his Grommash activators.
Baron Geddon is 1 turn away.
Yeah.
If you could actually coin him this turn.
I'd be really surprised if he chose not to take out this Shade here. Wow, that's going to total at least 5. I mean, that's going to total at least 5 damage by the end of this game. 6, 7. It looks like it's going to total like 7 extra damage.
Well, we'll see.
Wow, Ardew's got Sludge Belchers. I'm sorry, Forsen's got Sludge Belchers in his Druid deck. That's really interesting. Okay, so he's choosing to attack with the Shades here, and there's 2 reasons why. The first one is because he's got enough of a presence down right now that he feels like it's not worth it to sacrifice all of this when your opponent has Brawl. So I would tend to agree with him in that sort of situation.
Yeah, with 3 minutes on board, Brawl is just devastating.
He's also got great creatures to follow it up.
Yeah.
He's got clear removal. He's also got combo. He's got a lot of great tools. So you don't have to rely on these Shades alone to win the game.
Yeah.
So do you use the Shield Slam? It seems like a waste.
You Harrison, maybe?
Can you... maybe you can use the Taskmaster. No.
I don't mind the Shield Slam. I mean, it doesn't really feel like if he had Shield Block, it definitely would have felt a little bit different, but I think he just needs to get stuff on the board. I'd be really surprised if he didn't play this Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, but then you leave up 2 charges because you already attacked with the Death Bite earlier, so you leave yourself vulnerable to Harrison Jones.
Do you think like this Druid often plays Harrison Jones? I don't think Harrison Jones.
It's not often, but it's something that he's thinking about for sure.
Definitely something he's going to think of. I mean, while he has the time, there's no reason not to as well.
Oh, so many cards in your opponent's hand. I think taking a gamble that there is no Harrison Jones was a correct decision.
Yeah.
So Forsen is just going to develop his board and put Ardew in a situation where he can just...
Yeah. It's a little unfortunate that he doesn't have the mana to play 2 creatures, because that sets up just such a strong presence for a turn 9 combo. But Sludge Belcher is one of the better cards at giving Warriors problems.
Wow, he is running Unstable Ghoul too.
Unstable Ghoul and Whirlwind.
That's an anti-aggro. It should be pretty good versus any kind of aggro.
Yeah. Harrison, okay, so...
He's not banning Hunter.
Yeah. Believe this or not, Harrison is actually a card that the first time I saw it used, KitKats was using it to counter Hunter decks specifically. He would trigger the trap from the Hunter player and then play Harrison Jones, destroy a 2-charge bow and draw 2 cards from it. That was really like kind of the purpose of it going in. So when you see this deck and it's got Baron Geddon and it also has Whirlwind, it's got multiple, I believe we've seen multiple silence effects so far. He's got the Unstable Ghoul to go with it. Like, this is really aimed at Hunter, and I really kind of like his game plan for this tournament with that, because when he bans Warlock again, he's saving himself not only the preparation to have to build his decks to beat Zoo and to beat Handlock, but he's not going to have to worry about playing against that either. I mean, that's like a big relief, like in terms of just how much practice you have to do.
Makes the matchup much better.
Didn't have to practice against any of those matchups. That's a lot of time.
I feel like most people are going to follow that too. Like I would be very surprised if most people are banning Hunter here over Warlock. Warlock's just really good. I also like being a little bit more defensive in Ardew's case, because he feels like there's just too much shenanigans for him to be taking damage right back. If he drops Baron Geddon, he'd be taking 5 damage that turn and within combo range to die.
Wow.
Which is the right choice.
Yep.
Scenarios. Do you just... I like scenarios overall in those Druid decks because you just build up the... If everything is cleared, you just build up the board on turn 9 and then follow up with the combo next turn.
I was surprised to see Swipe.
Right. He's holding on that Black Knight for Sludge Belcher.
Yeah.
Well, he can use the Raptor to draw a card. And he was able to clear the board and still continue doing pressure. And you know what? Warrior is getting closer to 14.
That was actually a pretty good draw.
Yeah,
perfect one.
I was kind of curious exactly what he was drawn for, but now when I think about it, I mean, he still has a copy of Wild Growth left, so that's
maybe a Haunted Creeper.
Yeah, anything he wants to thin out that way. Innervate obviously was a great one. He might even have like Harvest Golems in here. I was about to say Harvest Golem.
Harvest.
I don't know. I don't know why I was going to pronounce it that way.
Harvest
Yeah, he's gonna play that Harvest Golem.
It's not even harvest time in Texas. Yeah, using Grum as a removal card seems bad.
Well, it sucks, but you just kind of. This is what you just have to do sometimes.
But that won't really matter because Forsen's got the combo, so that's going to send it to game number 5, and we are going to see whether or not RDU has the answer to this Druid, or else the first series will go to Forsen.
Gosh, this has been so back and forth. I feel like these players have done a really good job at like fighting for board positions, but then like when it scales towards like the later game, they have like such a very clear and concise line of play that's gonna really put big hurts on their opponents. Oof.
It's all about the lineups. They have the counters, and you know, Druid is a deck that's really hard to counter, I'd say. It's good versus everything, not exceptional versus anything. Maybe versus Warrior, it's like, kind of like a counter.
Yeah, it's amazing versus Warrior.
Warrior's like the one matchup I think that like Druid actually accelerates at what it does, and everything else, it's like you said, it's pretty even, it's pretty close.
But it's not bad, so...
Yeah.
Well, Forsen looks really stressed. Or hungover.
the latter
Maybe
is...
a little bit of both.
It definitely could be.
Yeah. But it's like I'm used to seeing Forsen like smile, you know, the wrinkles by his eyes gets really cute when he's like laughing and chuckling, but there's not really like any games here. It seems like he's in hardcore mode because it's game 5 and it comes down to this last
he's just
option.
having a blast. Look at him.
Yeah. well, either that or he had a blast last night. He's paying the price.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Because we are, you know, we're traveling across the world, meeting the friends. So when you finally meet the friends
and see what is in store, and it will be the Hunter.
I was incorrect. I'm so ashamed. This is a really interesting build already. Yeah.
Abusive Sergeant is in the opening hand. Does that imply RDU's playing Huntard?
I mean, it definitely could be the case, yeah.
RDU is a player that's not afraid to bring his own inventions and something surprising. I think he values surprise even more than a consistent deck, which doesn't say that super aggro Hunter is not consistent. It's just different.
It could just be that Abusive Sergeant is just good in this deck too. That's definitely a possibility.
Sure. The trades are really important.
Yeah.
What do we think about Forsen's hand? He has Wild Growth, but he also has a little bit of awkwardness right afterwards.
Well, obviously he wants his opponent to have a bow at some point. Sludge Belcher, I think, is aimed at Hunter in this particular build. You want to just have that little bit of extra leverage to kind of keep going, and then outside of that, his hand looks fantastic to me. You know, Savage Roar's not a great card to draw, but at some point you do need it in this matchup.
Ooh. It's very interesting because normally Druid wants to have aggression, but in this matchup with Sludge Belcher and Keeper and Wild Growth, it looks pretty good as a defensive hand.
Yeah. You usually have to play kind of defensively in this matchup until you get like one really big turn where you can kind of swing the game in your favor.
RDU's hand is fantastic. Like he had a Washer 2-drop, now Undertaker. Is there anything Forsen can actually get to be able to deal with this? Its swipe might not be enough.
Well, I imagine the first course is you silence this Undertaker and you go from here. Yeah. Now, he's basically at this point, he's like, he doesn't want to see Animal Companion. That's like one of the worst cards he could possibly see at this point.
Especially if it's a Leok.
Yeah, everything's bad. Pig's pretty bad too, but...
You go face or do you trade? I think you just go face. You do force the Druid. Well, the Druid is not a defensive deck.
Yeah. I think if you're going to trade, what you do is you trade with your Mad Scientist and your Web Spinner.
Well, he's got Abusive Sergeant as well.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you use up the Undertaker too. Anyways, you want to get the Beast Draw off of your Web Spinner simply because you're kind of running out of gas at this point. So anything you pick up is going to help add more pressure to the board. And that's really all you're looking for. This Druid doesn't do well against a ton of pressure.
Force of Nature is defensive card. Look at that.
That's almost as good as it gets, honestly, sort of killing your opponent. You're clearing off 3 minions. And the sequencing is also on point. You don't want to get a chance to Freezing Trap to charge the
or Snake Trap.
Back.
Yeah.
Or even Snake
Explosive Trap as well. just in case. Whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So Flare coming out. Beast actually might get some work done this game.
I think he will get work done.
Yeah.
There's no big game hunter, and there's going to be a Druid of the Claw or Sludge Belcher, and you need something to chew through.
Yeah, we're going to see how exactly what's going on. But, you know, a reminder, against all these taunts, that can very easily turn into a liability when you give your opponent a free 3-3.
Oh, but he's got Harrison for the weapon.
So he's kind of stabilizing here, but again, his hand is really heavy, so it just depends on exactly how much work's going to get done. Oh. Wow, he picks up Savannah Highmom instead.
And this is the moment when Savannah Highmom is so powerful.
Oh, man. The smirks are coming out as RDU is like looking over and Forsen just realizing, oh, God.
Yeah. Even though Forsen's hand is actually taunt heavy. Normally in a Druid, you don't see that many taunts.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that the Beast is a lot better when you follow up Savannah Highmane with it, because you use a lot of stuff to take care of what's happening. But, gosh.
And you have to start thinking about killing, too, because Druid can't be taking so much damage. He does have Ancient of Lord to heal, which is nice.
Yeah.
But there is going to be a lot of damage potentially on the backswing, especially if his opponent has double kill command.
Yeah. Kill command's certainly something he's thinking about here, but I don't know if he has a way to actually play around it or not. It is Snake Trap.
Oh, man.
Snakes on the plane. Brutal. Snakes on the plane.
And he's going to trade in Harrison Jones to reduce the amount of damage coming in.
But still, he's so low. He has to tone up and heal.
One kill command could end this game.
Gosh, he's got to face down Beast afterwards, too. The Beast. It's not even a Beast. It's just the Beast.
The Beast.
Yeah.
Look at Forsen's face.
It's actually the Core Hound, but yeah.
I want to see that facial expression when the Beast is being dropped.
I think RDU might win with just that. He might feel like he's tempted to hero power as much, but the Beast is. This is the time to do it.
You got to do this. I mean, give the people what they want.
All right. Okay, then.
Oh, wow. Well, can he stay alive with the Sludge Belcher here? I think so.
It definitely will help him one more turn. Right now, it'll help him one more turn. But, you know, again, Kill Command, Iron Beak Owl, those are going to end it.
Do you play Shade or do you shapeshift into a snake?
I'm going to guess.
I'm going to go the Shade next.
Yeah, I'm going to guess you play Shade because simply
because
you just got to you just got to get something going.
All right, well, we still know RDU is on a win draw here.
Gosh, he picks up a 5-5. Just big stuff. That's been the story of this game is he's actually just scaled really well.
Yep.
When he's gone through the mid game.
And still no one's going to play Poison Seeds. Even so, they still cost a lot of mana.
Poison Seeds Starfall.
Well, he's got 2 taunts. And you know what? Fickle Einhorn actually does come into play. So if he double taunts, he actually stays alive again. So the 2/2s actually matter here with Cenarius.
Wow.
And you kill up the beat. Oh, is it a 9-4? Oh, I thought it was a 9-3.
Well, I mean, it's still not the worst situation here.
Kill command.
RD still's got to draw. That's pretty much the worst draw in his deck right now.
What is the trap? Do you know?
That's what I want to know. I'm curious. Is it another snake trap?
Could be explosive trap? Or RDU might not be. Okay, it's a freezing trap.
No, yeah, so Forsen's going to live another turn here.
Barely surviving.
And
fighting against the odds.
I don't think I've ever seen the Beast live this long.
Or do this much.
Yeah.
I like it. Keeping the Beast for kill command? Oh, I guess he's going to cycle it anyway.
Yeah,
right?
I think you jam it down for sure.
The freezing trap is so powerful. He can't even use scenarios to trade.
Wow! Big game. What?
Wow. Nice.
This is actually, he might actually recover. Like, if he doesn't see kill command this turn, he might have actually fully recovered the game.
The trap, though. The trap.
Well, he has to spring the trap anyway.
Right. But that doesn't keep Cenarius on the board, and he needs that. He needs something to stick onto the board for pressure.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get a Finkel this turn, too, so he's going to have a 3-3 and a 4-2.
Cenarius is unplayable for the rest of the game, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty much, it's just done. 11 mana, you can't innervate above 10. And I think you drop the Druid of the Claw and Taunt here, and then you hope no kill command, and I think you can recover.
You have Ancient of Lord to heal. Can Forsen actually do this?
That's just insane.
No!
He can't do it.
Wow, unbelievable end to the series. Forsen puts up a big fight the entire way through, but a top-decked kill command at the end for RDU ends it.
I disagree, Admiral. I think that was a very believable end to the series because I've been in that seat many times, Forsen. I know that feel, bro.
Gosh. Yeah, and you know, the chance of getting kill command after getting all those cards.
Yeah,
was
he
just a matter
drew
of time.
pretty deep in his deck, to be fair. He was drawing a couple duds, like Mad Scientist #2 didn't help. Web Spinner didn't help. It would have been like Underline if he picked up his second Undertaker.
Yeah.
But that's just what the nature is of these hunters, why they're trying to reach deep.
Yeah.
But
Also
in the end,
in
it didn't matter. Nibsh.
all
go
right.
for it.
I want to say only that it was also the matchups and the lineups that those players had, the bans. They ended up in game 5 because of all the counters they had.